We're now applying the concepts of breakthrough breathing to voiced sounds as well as voiceless. We talked earlier about how all vowels are voiced, like O, A, E, but consonants can be either voiced or voiceless. So far, we've worked only with voiceless sounds like S, Sh, F, and Th. Now we're going to add the voiced equivalents, like V. Now this is important because many languages of the world use a different V sound, made in a different part of the mouth, made with different voicing, that is a buzz sound, and the buzz sound can emanate from different regions. Everything from your lips to your alveolar ridge behind your teeth to the top of your mouth to various other locations, depending on your first language. Patterns you may not even be aware of. So with this sound, let's start with an F. Most of you will find that an F is easier to put breath on than a V. So let's again monitor that with the tissue. Start with the word ferry, like I'm going to take a ferry. Ferry. Now change it, same sound, but add a buzz to it. And add the buzz in the middle. Start with an F, migrate towards, that is, morph into a V, like this. Sustain the breath. Watch the tissue. It should be flying in the air the entire time. Very, very. Once you can get some breath on your V, you can start to practice with the V in different locations in the word with different vowels. But before we do that, I want to give you a word of caution. Many people exaggerate the breath, and in so doing, they get a little bit dizzy. This is almost like hyperventilating, which you want to prevent. We don't want anyone to pass out. So if you start to feel dizzy, stop. Stop for 5 to 10 minutes or longer. You can also put your head between your knees, stay in that position until you feel better, or simply lie down and relax. Don't overdo this until you put yourself in a precarious situation. Be careful and be kind to yourself. And that's just my personal opinion. So let's go back now. With this exaggeration, we want to be careful, but we do want to get length on that V sound. So let me give you another sentence. Advise them to look it over. 2 V's, 1 voiced V. So we have these sounds, V and V. Let's first get breath on them with that tissue. Advise. Do you notice how much more challenging it is to get breath in the middle of a word than it is at the beginning? Vise by itself is easier, like the word visor. Vise. That's much easier. When I put the sound in the middle of the word, it gets harder. Partly because my palate is moving backwards if I speak a different language. Advisor. Advisor. No breath. Advisor. That sounds accented. So instead of moving the palate backwards, the palate is the top of the mouth, the hard palate. You want a sensation of moving it forward. So you want to move that palate going forward. Advise them. The them is again the sound where the tongue doesn't drop. We're moving up. It's a TH that's voiced. Plenty of breath because we want to elongate the sound. Advise them. Advise them to look it over. Now this word over is also challenging. Why? Because there's an R in the word. And when you say with the tongue back, many first languages make that sound very strong. So first make sure you're pulling your tongue backwards and arching it to get the and then soften it again with belly breath. Over. It should sound that soft. It shouldn't sound like this. Over. Over. This sounds accented. Look over the offer. Why don't you look over the offer? Notice how breathless and breathy, I should say, how breathy and effortless that is. Very little effort, lots of breath. Breathy and effortless. Look over the offer. And again, let's work with length now that we have the breath piece. Look over the offer. Next, we're going to try another sentence. This one's a little longer, and it adds another voice sound, zh, which may be challenging for you, especially if your first language is Korean. It's similar to the sh sound with some vibration. Zh. It is palatal, but the tongue can move. The palate goes forward, and the tongue can touch the palate briefly to get the location in place. Zh. Zh. This is a movement sound. Not a short sound like j. Most Chinese speakers can't clearly hear the difference between j and zh, so really exaggerate. The word usually, for example, is not usually or usually with no buzz. It has a buzz, but it's long. It's not a j like judgment. It's a zh, like sh with a buzz. Usually. Let's try a sentence. Usually he advises them to visualize the outcome. Let's make that clear and empowering. Usually, lots of breath and length. First monitor breakthrough breathing here. Usually, breath. Now get voicing. Start with the sh, migrate to the zh. Usually. Again, the sentence. Usually, he advises them, and breathe again with a pause, to visualize the outcome. Usually, he advises them to visualize the outcome. Use the band for length. Let's break that down again with a nice long power pause. I call this strategic pausing for effect. Breath from the diaphragm, exhaling. Usually, he advises them to visualize the outcome. One last example. As your advisor, the Z is long, so is the V. The Z, like we talked about earlier with the S, is behind the teeth, the front or the bottom teeth, with the teeth separated. Lots of breath. Zzz, soft, not advisor. The tissue should move. Advisor the entire time. It shouldn't be a stopped sound with the palate going backwards. Advisor. The palate goes forward, the breath emerges. Advisor. As your advisor, I obviously exaggerate with length and breath. I obviously stop and then allow the breath to continue. I obviously, the going out is as important as the coming in. I obviously give advice. As your advisor, I obviously give advice. Let's do that without breath so you can hear the difference. As your advisor, I obviously give advice. Notice how much faster that is and how much more accented it is. Let's try it now with breath. As your advisor, I obviously give advice.